And for you to be able to say, well, okay, let's work on that together. It facilitated even more trust, which meant that we were in a position where we felt really kind of at least supported in the tail end. So I really appreciate that from you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right.
Stylistically, how do you think we should do it? Okay, shall I ask questions, or do you want to ask questions to both of us? Like, are we both being interviewed, or are I interviewing Kat? What do you think is the right dynamic?
I think if it can look like you are having a conversation, I think
chatting.
that's really nice. So
we should look more at each other than at the camera?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I mean, leaning on the table is good. I just want to let you know, cropping wise, that I can see like just the top of your head. So and just up to your arms. So it's really is like this shot.
Yeah.
I think maybe even just and just at the beginning, I think just even introducing Kat as the CEO of Grameen Australia. Kat, tell us about the project that you just successfully crowdfunded. So we have a chance to hear about what it is that you're doing.
But shall we do that? So I'm here with Kat, who's the CEO of Grameen Australia. They just ran an amazing crowdfunding campaign with us. Tell us about like where I am actually kind of referencing the audience. I'm the interviewer.
Yes.
Versus pretending that's not there and just being like, so how
No,
is it?
exactly. And just be mindful of your posture as well.
Oh, yeah. So if I sit up too straight, am I
you
friend
just,
though? I need to.
This is a lot of things.
You're still in
Lower my
friends. Sorry,
stool a
guys.
little bit.
Okay.
Sit my back a little bit. So I'm here with Kat, the CEO of Grameen Australia, who recently ran an epic campaign on Start Some Good, to hear just a little bit more around how that campaign went. Thanks for joining me, Kat.
Thank you so much, Tom Dawkins.
Still recovering, as you can see.
Absolutely. So we ran a crowdfunding campaign to raise 102,000 Australian dollars in 19 days. Grameen Australia runs social businesses in Cambodia, Manila and in Australia, and this one was for Cambodia. What we have there is a social business chicken farm where we take local dump site scavengers off of the rubbish dump and train them and hire them in a commercial poultry rearing operation, which is broken even. So we've taken 20 people through that program, but we needed to scale, and in order to do that we needed to buy a second plot of land so that we could impact the lives of 2,000 rural farmers in the region. Now,
the land was a bit of a get it or lose it opportunity, wasn't it?
Yes. So I guess the reason this came about was we found out through our contacts on the ground in Siem Reap province that this plot of land had become available, and it was just far enough from our farm to fulfill biosecurity needs, but close enough for us to get to, so it was the perfect plot. And the sense of urgency was that it wasn't just a perfect plot for us, it was also looked at by a number of foreign and commercial investors. So if they had gotten to this before we did, then we would lose the opportunity for this perfect plot of land forever, and it would really compromise our scaling opportunities. So that's why we had to do it in such a short period of time.
So they needed $102,000 in 19 days. So they needed $102,000 in 19 days. Pretty intense.
Oh yeah, it was extremely intense. I think that if I had known just how challenging that was at the outset, maybe we wouldn't have done it. So in this case, perhaps ignorance was bliss.
So tell me about what was the things that you learned along the way that did allow you to succeed, though?
I guess I'd like to say that we started from the ground, so we didn't have any experience in our team. We've got 4 people that work with us in Australia and 60 in the Philippines, 20 in Cambodia. But on this project was really myself and our operations director, Michelle, who had no experience before. So we learned everything, literally everything about running a crowdfunding campaign, about fundraising, accessing grassroots communities. We learned everything through this experience. I think some of the key learnings were I couldn't thank you enough for the premium support that you gave us at the start. So something called the 5 C's that you talked us through, which was, I think, clarity, credibility, community channels, and courage. And out of all of those, the one that I found most helpful, other than clarity, was community. I think what we would have spent a lot of energy doing would have been to try and convert the haters instead of just convene the true believers and offer them an opportunity to get involved in something they already care about. And then I think the second thing was how to communicate such a complex message in a way that could be understood by people with a range of access to Grameen and what we were doing. So your coaching was really helpful there. And I think what I also learned about running a campaign, well, I mean, other than it's a lot of work and a lot of thinking time goes into it, was I underestimated how important the trust between the platform provider and the client is. So you and I have known each other. We did the Professor Eunice work together at the start of the year with your Starting Good conference. We'd already had a relationship beforehand, and I think I underestimated how important that was to even give us the fifth C, the courage to start at all, because I think if somebody had told me to raise $102,000, it was a raise or bust campaign. You couldn't keep what you raised if you didn't raise the whole amount, and you've just got to keep going if it feels uncomfortable, and sometimes you'll be 40k down when you've got 48 hours to go and you don't know where their money's coming from. I think if somebody other than you had given me that message, I probably wouldn't have been willing to extend myself. So I think the key is one, the building of the trust and the kind of emotional capacity of the team, but two, also Starts on Good is really awesome, so you can just work with them.
I like that one. Key takeaway. My final question is just, what were the surprises? What were some things that you didn't know going into it that you discovered along the way? I'm interested, for instance, in your reflections on the all or nothing versus keep what you raise model and your discoveries about that along the way.
So I think, you know, at the start, obviously, because it's such a large amount of money and it's high reputational risk, and also just risk for our beneficiaries if we didn't raise the funds at all, we were really, really nervous about the all or nothing model. We just thought, look, why couldn't we keep, 70k if we raised 70k out of 100,000? But we also took your advice and take the advice of your advisors. That's what they advise you for. That part of the magic is the ability to galvanise the community around a tangible goal in a contained time frame for a particular amount, and if it didn't get raised, then everybody feels a sense of responsibility to making sure it does happen. So that's what is the difference between the raise or bust versus keep what you raise campaign. And also, I think what that meant was we created a field of energy around this campaign from our community and other people who just met Grameen through this experience that was probably connected more firmly due to the nature of the urgency of the campaign, and also that aligned with the actual urgency in real life that we were competing with foreign investors as well.
Yeah, you couldn't buy 3/4 of the land, could you? You needed that full budget, or the danger was there'd be no land.
Absolutely.
No outcome.
Absolutely. And I think the other big thing that I learned that was so suppose two key surprises, well, maybe not surprises, but a reinforcement was like being able to partner with a major partner with a big audience. Like we partnered with the Entourage, and that was such a synergistic, like well-aligned partnership. I think if we didn't have that up front, it would be much more challenging for us to get the reach that we did. They are connected on the principles of entrepreneurship and purpose, which was amazing. Secondly, it was just, I was surprised at where the donations came from. So it was absolutely from our existing donor network, so thank you to everybody in our community who already supports us, but also just from far-flung corners of Australia, from people we didn't know who were super generous. So I think your advice about reaching out to communities that already have an interest in what we're doing solidified that, and that's how we were able to kind of attract people that weren't already in our network.
That's great. So I think I heard 4 really awesome takeaways there, if I could summarise. The first, I think, is having good advisors who know what they're talking about, including the platform themselves,
Yes.
if they offer advice. The second is being willing to be uncomfortable. I think there's always a certain amount of uncomfortableness in going out there and kind of having to admit to everyone, I can't do it on my own, we can't do it on our own, we do need you to come with us and do this with us. That can be uncomfortable. The third, God, I had them all in my head just a moment ago. What was the third?
Partnerships.
Yes, that's it exactly. Key partners established beforehand.
Yes.
So not frantically running around during the campaign, but really thinking about who those relevant partners are and having that alignment. On the fourth, I was going to say, was the right model that is in alignment with the nature of the project itself. So in your case, it wasn't all or nothing project. You're going to get all the land, this plot of land, or none of it. And so having, I think, a fundraising mechanism that aligns with that authentically I think it's really important too.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, in terms of the partnership, like convening, not converting, which were your words as part of the 5 Cs, was just a massive energy saver for us. So
That's right. So focus in on the people who, you know, be thoughtful around who your message is going to resonate with, and then put your energy into getting that message to those people that you've selected.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys, and thanks everybody for supporting us.
Thank you, Kat. Congratulations.
Thank you.